Our protagonist has an English presentation tomorrow. Unfortunately, he hasn't studied enough for it.
Here are a few examples of faulty punctuation. First, we have improper usage of your period when you're using quotes. So when you're quoting something, you don't want to put the period on the outside. You always want to put the period to end the sentence on the inside of the quote. This is wrong. Also, there's a difference between using it's with an apostrophe and without an apostrophe. If you have it's with an apostrophe, it always means either it has or it is. If it does not have an apostrophe, it's always a possessive pronoun like his or her. And the third example is a run-on sentence. So that's when you have two independent clauses that aren't properly separated. So this is kind of common in conversation, but you wouldn't write something like this because it doesn't make sense. I love to write papers. I would write one every day if I could. So either you would separate that with a comma or you would separate it with a period.
Another important distinction that you need to understand is the difference between semicolons and commas. So you put a semicolon whenever you have two independent clauses, and put a comma when you are separating an independent clause with a dependent clause. In our first example, we have two independent clauses, so we would put in a semicolon. I painted the house, semicolon, I still need to put in the first. In the second example, we have two independent clauses, but instead of putting a semicolon, we're going to use a comma. And the reason for that is because the two independent clauses are separated by conjunction but. So we put a comma before it. Anytime there's a use of conjunction, even if there's two independent clauses, you separate them using a comma.
Alright, so for our next example, we'll have parallelism, we'll be talking about it. So as you can see, we have two examples of the same sentence on each of the sides. So we'll start with the first one. He likes cooking, exercising, and to read. Well, that's wrong. So let's check out the right answer. He likes cooking, exercising, and reading. That's right. Now the reason it's right is because it doesn't mix a gerund and an infinitive together like it does in this one. Here we have the gerund trying to be combined with this infinitive, and it doesn't work out. That's what this sentence does right. Okay. For the next sentence, we have she likes baseball, jogging. The reason that's wrong is because you can't combine a singular noun with another gerund. Now what the second sentence does right is that she likes to play baseball and to jog. For our last example, we have my dog sprinted away. Where did the dog sprint away? That's what this sentence is doing wrong. But for this sentence, it says, my dog sprinted down the alley. That is why this group. What are you looking at?
Nothing.
That's so stupid. This is my car. Oh shit, this isn't my car.
Our protagonist rushed home to study for his English presentation. He was motivated the next day to do better on it.
And that's why punctuation is important.
Very well. Can we get our next student to come up and present, please?
I got this. For our next category, we'll be talking about syntax. Right? So for an example we have is to the movies we are going. Now, obviously, that sounds very wrong because when you're talking in a normal conversation, you don't tell someone to the movies we are going. Obviously not. So to correct that, we have to say we are going to the movies.
Wow, that was very good, Kevin. Great job.
Second example of syntax. We have the sentence, I gave him money. I stole from. the store. So the one problem with the sentence is that it's not very specific. It says I gave him money, I stole from the store, and what is missing is actually the should be inserted right there. So the sentence is actually I gave him the money I stole from the store. That completes this.
Class, give him a hand.
And Chewy and some hot nigga. Like I told Tish, I see when I shot.